Hey guys, how's it going? It's Rustabout Collector here, and we're back at it with another Halo review. Kind of crazy, right? Like, this is 2020 and we're getting Halo Reach action figures on store shelves, and today we're taking a look at Cat B320. So, I guess I'll start off. Let's talk about the packaging first. There's not really much to talk about. It's pretty much the same as the Master Chief and all the other ones in this line. So just Halo up at the top, it says the name of the character, and on the back is where it gets unique. You have the kind of just, hey look, it's Cat, and here's what she comes with, and then it shows off the other figures from the line, and this is wave 1, so be on the lookout because as I've already reviewed Master Chief, I actually also have these two in the works. They will be coming out soon as well, so I will have all of these up for review shortly. Now, as with all of these figures coming out from Wicked Cool Toys / Jazwares, it's a sub-company, but as with all those, they come with a code for in-game content for Halo Infinite, and I actually went ahead and went to Halo Waypoint / redeem and was able to activate those codes. Turns out there are only two unlocks, a Wicked Cool Toys emblem and a Wicked Cool Toys paint scheme for your Spartan armor in-game. They didn't show what they were, it just was text that said what it was. So definitely going to be interesting to see what those actually look like in-game. However, I activated the other codes and it wouldn't allow me to. So basically there's two unlocks, the emblem and the armor, and any other codes, any additional codes you get, just don't unlock anything. But it doesn't use the codes. In fact, when you enter a code after you've unlocked the first two items, it'll tell you, hey, this code, you've already unlocked everything, give this code to somebody else, like it's usable by somebody else. So if you get these figures, you already unlocked the first two unlocks, and you have a friend who plays Halo but maybe doesn't collect figures, give those codes to somebody else. But anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's take a look at this figure right here. Now, we got to address a couple issues. One, there's a bit of a quality control issue with this figure, and you can probably already see the torso is ridiculously loose. Now, this is something that I've seen pretty much everybody encounter. It's not just unique to me, and I know that Jazwares is aware of it. In fact, they are aware of all the quality control issues with this figure and with all the Halo figures that have had small little issues, and they are in the works of fixing it. So definitely in future releases, we'll be seeing major overhauls, I hope, that will fix this figure and other figures as well. Based on this one figure and this one issue, I hope that all of you who are watching won't just give up on the line. I think that there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of incredible stuff already packed into this figure, and so it's like, that's an issue. Yes, I am addressing it, but I don't think that it's an end game for the line. I think that it's just a hurdle, as they've released their first wave, they're encountering some issues and they will definitely come back stronger. The second point I want to address is that this is actually a running change of Cat. So I didn't even realize this when I picked it up. I found this at Walmart. They had the full wave, so I picked them up. And this is actually a running change. So the original figure had a much duller, less shiny, less chrome visor. It was apparently missing this leg stripe, and it didn't have very much weathering. Like, this figure has a lot of the silver weathering that we saw on Chief, and it also has paint apps on the little side pouch. So I guess the first initial release, I don't really know for sure, didn't have that stripe, the weathering, the paint apps here, and it had a very dull visor. So it's kind of interesting that they've already gone ahead and done some of the changes that people were requesting. Definitely nice to see that, and so that's why, like I'm saying, I'm confident that the future releases of this figure, and other figures in this line rather, are going to be improved. I'm not giving up hope just because of one loose torso. That said, let's set the figure aside just for a moment and take a look at what this figure comes with. Now, because this is Cat, of course there's a Halo Magnum, and it's a really nice Halo Reach sculpt. I love this design. It's got like the little underbarrel laser sight kind of thing going on there. And as with Master Chief, you can unplug this little slot here and turn it around, pop it back in. It has a peg sticking out there, and then you can slot the Magnum onto that. Now, I'm not sure why this one is so ridiculously long. It's definitely too long for the Magnum. I mean, the Magnum will sit on there like that, but I'll probably have to shave that down. It looks like it may have just been a little bit of like an overshoot from the mold. It doesn't look like it's actually supposed to be that long, but just like Master Chief, the Magnum can be attached there. It doesn't work on this side because of course you have like the med pouch that is standard for her character, but it's still really nice that they've gone ahead and implemented that design. It's really an innovation in my mind that they have that little reversible peg there on the legs for all these Spartans. But yeah, there's a standard Magnum. She also comes with the Spartan Laser, which looks really, really cool. The sculpt is amazing on this. It's got kind of a three-tone paint job. You got the gray, the green, and some silver here on some of the paneling. It looks great. It's nice and heavy. It's a little bit bendy, so it's not going to break or anything. It's definitely done in a flex plastic, but it also doesn't feel like it's going to warp, so that's always a positive. I don't know if you can really see it, but there's also even a little red stripe there and a UNSC logo stamped, and that is really nice little detail to see on a figure like this. It too comes with a peg hole here, which allows it to set on the back of the Spartan. And this one is on me. This is actually a little attachment that goes on the side of her helmet, because she has the air assault armor. I thought it was removable, and so I pulled it out. I kind of broke the glue on it, and yeah, it's supposed to look like that, but I need to get some super glue and actually reattach it. I completely forgot that I took that off, so that was my bad. I was like, oh, I wonder if this is oh, it's not removable. Okay. So, lesson learned, definitely don't do that when you get this figure. She also comes with an assortment of hands, a pointer hand, a trigger hand for the robot arm, a fist for the robot arm, and an open hand as well for the regular, normal, non-robotic arm. And I'll go over some of those in detail when I kind of show how she holds the accessories. And then finally, she comes with a head sculpt, an alternate head for what's basically a removable helmet. Now I will say this isn't as good as what we see with like Hasbro face printing. Definitely that is like top tier head sculpts in terms of a 1/12 6.5 inch figure, but this is pretty good for just a standard normal head sculpt. Looks pretty accurate to her in-game character. The eyes are painted on very nicely, very crisply. They're not like weirdly offset or anything like that. The sculpt even has her scars running up her forehead and under her eye there. And I'd say overall this is a really nice head sculpt. Definitely looks pretty accurate to the in-game character and is nice to see. So now for the figure itself, and I gotta say overall this is a really nice figure. I'm glad that they're making old characters. They're not just focused on the Infinite line, like the Halo Infinite line characters from that new game. They're going back, they're addressing characters that are fan favorites, and as the creators of this line have mentioned, the line is called the Spartan Collection. So they're not afraid to go back and address characters that we've seen before. So I definitely think we're going to be getting all of Noble Team. Who knows what else they might go over. Maybe they'll go over some of the comic characters, some of the characters from Halo 4, if you're a fan of that, not really me, you know, Halo Guardians, that sort of thing. We'll probably get like a Palmer, and maybe we'll get a, I don't know, who are the other characters? We'll get other characters from Halo 5 Guardians, that game that I never played, so we'll get like Fred, I think Fred is one of them, and Buck, you know, because they took a character beloved from ODST and made him into a Spartan, because that makes sense. But anyways, you know, I digress. We're talking about Cat here. Overall, the paint apps, the sculpt work looks amazing. You have a little UNSC symbol there painted on, the striping, little details there, weathering. I mean, it all looks really good. Pretty game accurate, I feel like. Obviously, the weathering is kind of generic. It's not like they looked at the game model and was like, oh, is that a scratch right there in the game? Okay, we'll add that in there. You know, it's generic weathering, but it looks really good. Definitely doesn't feel as overdone as it was on the Master Chief. And here we have it with the alternate head swapped on. I'm really not going to mess with popping it all the way on because it's kind of a pain to get the head off. The helmet comes off without really any issue, but the head kind of goes on more difficultly, let's just say. Like this, you know, I can pop that off and on all day, but the head really goes on hard, so I'm just going to leave that off for now. But I wanted to show it, at least kind of give you guys a picture of what it looks like on the character. As for articulation, at the head we have a double ball joint, so again you have really nice articulation, pretty good up, pretty good forward, side to side. Of course you have a full range all the way around like that. At the shoulders you have a butterfly joint, which is really nice, so you get a forward and a back like that. You get a swivel all the way around, a hinge that gets you up to about there, and then a bicep swivel all the way around there, double jointed elbows here, which gets you really a nice crunch there, and then at the hand you have a swivel and a hinge. Of course this can be swapped out, so this is like the trigger hand, I guess. You can pop that right out and give her like a motioning hand telling the Spartans, hey, go over there and do the thing. Now, of course, this character is unique, so we don't have a mirrored arm, we have a robotic arm, but I think they did a really good job with this arm. They made it look game accurate, but also they didn't really sacrifice anything in terms of articulation. So you do have a swivel all the way around. You can hinge it well past 90 there. And then at the elbow, you have a bicep swivel as well as a hinge, which gets you up to just past 90. And then you have the hinge and the swivel at the hand, which is pretty much the same as it is here. Just slightly different with like the robotic fingers. You know, the hands are different. But let's just swap on a trigger hand. There we go. And then you can give her a weapon just like that. And she holds that pretty well. I think you could also, the fingers are pretty flexible, so you could kind of do just like that. That's what I was trying to get at. It took a little bit more than it should have, but that's how it looks. I think one of the things that pretty much everybody loves about these figures is just the diversity in the different hands that you can get with the figure. I mean, you know, you can have her holding the weapon, you can swap out this hand, and you can have it, you know, like a two-handed grip, an action pose like that, or you could swap it out and you could have it be something more like this. You know, they're motioning, they're at the ready, they're like, go over there. It's really amazing for a $20 figure. That's something I will go over with all of these figures and just say, for $20, you are getting a lot of bang for your buck, and that's not really heard of. It's actually unheard of in today's market. You know, with everybody complaining about the figures that we're getting from Hasbro and many of the other companies, right now we need a line like this where they're going above and beyond what we expect out of a $20 figure in terms of articulation, paint apps, and also in terms of accessories. I mean, you're getting 2 weapons, you're getting a total of 6 hands, and a swappable head. That is incredible. Of course, next we gotta talk about the torso. It is loose. It does have a ball jointed socket in there. If it wasn't loose, you could still get a good range of motion out of it. Hopefully there's a way that I can fix it. I think I tried this before off camera. Let's see if I can do it again. I think all I'll need to do really is, yep, just like that, pop it open and just maybe add a little bit of glue or wrap some fabric or something around that, glue it on, and just to tighten up that joint just a little bit. It seems well manufactured, it just something about it doesn't want to just doesn't want to stay tight. You know, you pop it back in, it stays tight for a bit, and then it just goes loose again, so I don't really know. Again, I don't think that that kills this figure by any means or makes it something that you shouldn't buy. There's lots of tutorials, I think, that are already getting posted on Instagram and probably YouTube on how to fix these minor imperfections with the figures, so again, for 20 bucks with all these accessories, it's worth it to get it and maybe have to do a little bit of TLC, and in the end you have a really awesome 6.5-inch figure. There is also a swivel at the waist, just gives you a little bit more reach in terms of posability in the torso. Then at the hips we have the ball joint as well as the thigh swivel, so you can get out pretty far, you can get forward, you can get back, you can swivel that around all day long. At the knee, it's a double jointed knee. Can swivel it back just like that. Really nice articulation there. And the way that they've sculpted this one, I know my complaint with Master Chief was that it didn't look quite right when you bent the knee all the way backwards. This one, the way it's sculpted looks really nice actually. It doesn't feel as inorganic or as awkward. This looks a lot more like a human knee than the Chief. So that's definitely an improvement there as well. I like that. It doesn't look bad, doesn't look awkward. So there's that, and then down at the foot you have the hinge and a forward-facing rocker, so you can kind of get the foot off at some angles, and then you have the toe curl, the toe joint, just a swivel at the toes, a little nice piece of added articulation, and there you have it. So yeah, that's pretty much the figure. Head-to-toe paint apps, head-to-toe articulation, really nice sculpt. A few issues here and there, like I mentioned, you know, the torso is a problem, but overall, I think if you're a fan of Halo and you don't mind doing a little bit of tweaking just to make the figure a little bit sharper, why wouldn't you get this? You know, I think that it's a really nice figure, a great representation of the character. The added accessories are just amazing. Like, this is the kind of stuff you would get with a much more expensive figure, something like an SH Figuarts or a Bandai figure, and all for 20 bucks you're getting all of this. It's amazing. So, and I'm not saying that like I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I don't want to sound like I'm hyping the company too much. I don't mean to do that. I am actually just genuinely a fan of this line and what they're producing for such a beloved franchise like Halo. But yeah, that's where I'm going to wrap up this review, and if there's any questions you guys have about this figure, maybe that I didn't cover, I'm still kind of getting a feel for how to review these guys as accurately as possible, leave them down in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back with you guys on them. As always, there's a link down in the description to my social media, my merch site, as well as my P.O. Box address. If you want to send anything to the channel, I will review it and do like an unboxing video right here on the channel, just like I posted the other day. But as always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll be sure to catch you all in the next video.